You're lying in bed, the house is quiet, and then you hear it. A faint, frantic scratching coming from right above your ceiling. Your instinct is to pick up the phone and call a professional to make it stop. The standard industry response is incredibly predictable. An exterminator arrives, places a heavy black plastic box against the outside of your house, and sets you up on a subscription. For roughly $80 a month, they promise to keep the problem in check. We hand over the credit card because we assume the transaction is simple. The rats eat the bait, the problem is permanently handled, and whatever is in that box stays strictly between the pest and the poison. But paying a monthly fee doesn't fix the actual root reason the rodents are there. It only treats a symptom. And while the homeowner enjoys a temporary quiet, that little black box is quietly initiating a localized ecological disaster right in the backyard. Fast forward a few months. The scratching in the walls inevitably comes back, but outside, the local neighborhood wildlife mysteriously begins disappearing. Wildlife biologist Brittany Piersma spent 5 years studying native burrowing owls in southwest Florida. When she began testing deceased birds, the data revealed a severe pattern. 55 out of 59 owls tested positive for rat poison. These are ground-level hunters. They don't scavenge human trash, and they never physically entered or touched a single bait box. The threat radius extends further. There are fewer than 250 Florida panthers left in the wild. They share the same hunting grounds where these bait stations are placed. Because there is no antidote for some of these rodenticides, a panther that accidentally ingests the chemicals cannot be saved. Even herbivores are impacted. Marco Island is home to over 1,300 protected gopher tortoises. When the local rat population fluctuates wildly from chemical treatments, displaced and aggressive rats begin invading tortoise burrows. Deploying poison does not solve a rodent problem. The mechanism killing these predators is called secondary poisoning. Secondary poisoning happens when an animal ingests a toxin not by eating the bait directly, but by eating another animal that has already consumed it. The cycle starts here. Commercial bait boxes are placed outside homes and businesses, filled with toxic bait meant to attract rodents. When a rat eats that poison, it doesn't drop dead on the spot. It becomes sluggish and sick, surviving for weeks while carrying the highly concentrated active toxin inside its body. To an owl or a panther, a slow, stumbling rat looks like an easy meal. The predator catches the rat and accidentally swallows a massive, lethal dose of the poison. The food chain did exactly what it was supposed to do. The predators hunted the prey, and the poison rode that natural system all the way to the top. If we are inadvertently sacrificing our endangered wildlife, we have to ask, does the poison at least eradicate the rats? This model illustrates the vacuum effect. Normally, predators naturally suppress the rodent population, keeping numbers balanced. When poison is introduced, rat numbers drop temporarily, but secondary poisoning completely wipes out the local owls and hawks. Jump forward 3 months. Nature hates empty spaces, so new rats discover the vacant territory and move in. With absolutely no predators left to hunt them, the rat population explodes, peaking far higher than the original number. The real question is whether this structural approach can scale up to protect an entire community. The city of Marco Island decided to find out. City managers launched a pilot program at Mackle Park. They brought in a specialist to seal the structural entry points on city buildings and deployed Good Bites, which is a plant-based rodent fertility control that limits reproduction naturally. This chart shows the results over a 12-month period. The local rat population dropped by 60%. The number of resident complaints dropped to 0, and they achieved this without using a single drop of poison. Armed with that hard data, the Marco Island City Council held a vote. They unanimously decided to completely ban rat poison from every single city-managed property starting in 2025. The environment responded immediately. At a nearby preserve where the bait boxes were pulled, game cameras documented wild owls and hawks returning within weeks to safely hunt the area. We don't need toxic chemicals to protect our properties. Protecting the ecosystem is very straightforward. Fix the physical building, abandon the poison, and step back so nature can do what it does best: